What's going on, everybody? Today, what I want to talk about is how to use simple movements to drastically change your life. And the key word here is simple. How to use simple movements to change your life. And the reason why I decided to make this video is about 2 weeks ago, I got a refund request on my anxiety release breakthrough system course. And I've been selling this course since August. And since that time, I've only had about 10 to 12 refund requests. And for every refund request, I've never really asked why. Like, why did you ask for the refund? The main reason is because I don't believe in a one size fits all approach. I believe we're all uniquely different, and what works for me might not work for you. And I want people to be able to try my program completely risk-free. Meaning if they don't get the result, they got it for free. So they could just request the refund. But anyways, this woman actually, the last refund request, this woman actually gave me an explanation on why she's requesting the refund. And I didn't really ask why, but she gave it to me anyway. And she told me that the course, as far as the movements that I was prescribing, weren't advanced enough. Meaning, we weren't doing much in the course, in the digital course. And for me, purposely, that was actually by design. My goal was to make a course that would drastically transform somebody's life with minimal energy as possible, but high level awareness. I want people to be able to do this program even when they're exhausted. So if they do, let's say, even if they did a 12-hour shift and they came home, I want them to know, I want them to understand, I want them to realize that Lou's not going to be asking me to do much except give me a little bit of focus, a little bit of awareness, and just by doing this, I'll get the result. So that's the idea. The idea of the course was a low energy, high awareness course. But anyway, the woman said that the moves weren't advanced enough. I thought she was going to do more of a, ancient Chinese Qigong routine. And I thought it was going to be more advanced, and maybe you could make something like that. But who's going to buy that? I think if people actually bought that, it's a high likelihood that because the routines are so advanced and may require a lot of energy, people are just not going to do it. Because what I found out is the higher level of output that's required by the physical body, there's less likelihood of people actually completing something. But today, what I want to do is talk to you about how to use the simple movements that I've prescribed or that I've posted to actually start changing your life, start shifting your life. And I want you to realize every movement that I've ever posted, as simple as it is, it has nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with the movements. The movements is not what's going to actually change your life. Sure, there's a lot of people out there on social media that talk about using these moves to, rejuvenate your lymph system, regulate your nervous system, activate your vagus nerve, release fascia. These are all like trendy words today that are people using that's actually getting a lot of attention, because I get a lot of DMs too when people are about to buy the course or thinking about buying the course. They ask me questions about fascia, vagus nerve, lymph nodes, and all this stuff. And, to me, I'm like, the course isn't about that. It'll probably indirectly affect that stuff, but the course is strictly about using movements to bring awareness into the present moment, into the body. That way, you could actually feel what's blocking you, because the course is all about releasing emotional blockages. Because a lot of people today, they're suffering. They're suffering with anxiety. You know, right now, if you look into politics and what's going on in the world, everybody's a little anxious. Gas prices are going up, food prices are going up, cost of living is higher than ever. People are afraid of war. People are afraid what's going to happen, which is causing people's anxiety, causing people's stress levels to raise, which is really bogging them down. And it's affecting them not only emotionally, but now it's starting to affect them physically. Because when your cortisol level, your anxiety level is really, really high, your blood pressure goes up, your risk of cancer goes up, your risk of getting sick goes up. All this stuff happens. And the idea of my course is for you to use these easy, gentle movements to bring yourself back into awareness, not so much to regulate your nervous system, but to teach you how to just be okay. Even if your nervous system right now is fried, I want you to learn that you're okay, the real you, because you are not your nervous system. You have a nervous system. So a lot of people today are focusing on, I need to regulate my nervous system. Every time they feel a little bit of stress, something irks them, something triggers them, they gotta go do something to do a breathing technique to down-regulate their heart rate and bring them back into balance. This course is not particularly about getting you back into balance. The same thing with the movements. It's not really about getting you back into balance. It's getting you to be okay with what's going on. So, you know, the biggest gripe I have with people today on social media, people that talk about regulating the nervous system, releasing your fascia, releasing your trauma, is that it's beautiful when you do it in the practice room. Meaning when you're practicing the exercises, you feel great. You feel amazing. You release something. You open something up. But what happens when you come back into the real world and you see that your electric bill went up, that your gas bill went up? You go to the grocery store and the egg prices are higher. What are you going to do then? Are you going to have to stop and do your breathing exercise every time your stress levels go up, or do a stretch, or activate the vagus nerve, or regulate your nervous system, or do some type of tapping exercise? Are you going to have to do all of these techniques in real life? You're not going to have the time. So people are always constantly trying to regulate their nervous system, and it's not helping. And with this woman who, she wants something more complex, something more advanced, some crazy movements. I don't want to say crazy movements, but I get what she was saying with the Qigong. These flow-like movements where you're doing a lot. This stuff is useful only in the practice room. And my goal was to teach people how to use simple movements. Really, really simple movements. Really, really easy movements. Not so much that they get good at regulating their nervous system when they're at home, or being relaxed when they're at home, but actually learn how to use these movements as a tool to practice becoming aware of what's going on inside you. So how do you do this? It's simple. Right now I'm walking. Believe it or not, this is a movement. I'm walking. I'm moving my head around. I'm moving my arm around, right? Beautiful. Not doing much, walking. But the goal of me doing the walking is for me to be aware of what's going on inside. So right now, if I'm aware of what's going on inside, right now I feel like I gotta pee. I can feel a little bit of tension in my neck. I can feel my right hand holding onto the camera stand, and I'm gripping it kind of tight. I can feel my wallet in my right pocket. I can feel all of these things. The goal of everything to really transform your life is to learn how to be present with what's going on right now. It's not about using techniques. It's about staying open. And when I use the movements, particularly in my course, and if you guys have done some of my long form routines, you'll notice that we're not doing much. But in between each stretch, let's say I stretch one side, before I go to the other side, I want you to become aware of exactly what's going on inside your body. And from there, just by simply shifting yourself into awareness of what's actually going on, you could start to allow it to flow, allow it to move, allow it to transmute, allow it to purify, allow it to purge. That's the whole idea behind this spiritual evolution, this spiritual growth, is learning to release your stuff. What is your stuff? It's the blockages you have inside of you. Now, these blockages are particularly what's called your preferences. What does that mean? If you follow Buddhism, there's four noble truths that the Buddha talks about. The first noble truth is life is suffering. And he's not trying to be negative. The Buddha is not trying to be negative. People hear that life is suffering. The second noble truth is the cause of suffering is preference. The cause of suffering is craving. The cause of suffering is desire. It's the fact that your mind, your ego, wants to be somewhere else. This is why people can't get present to the moment, because even though I'm outside in beautiful nature right now, really, really beautiful spot, you'll notice people walking around, either they're talking on their phone. I mean, I'm making a video, so maybe I'm being a hypocrite. Talking on their phone. They're either talking on their phone, looking at their phone, listening to music. They're stimulating their nervous system. Basically, like, think about it. If you're outside listening to a song, you're putting your mind, your body somewhere else, maybe with the artist. You're avoiding the present moment. Now, a lot of people just don't know how to be in the moment. So this is the idea behind these simple movements. The reason why I made the movements so simple is because I don't really want you thinking about the movements. I want you to be conscious of the movements. I want you to feel the movements. I want you to experience the movements. So if I go about trying to give you a complicated routine, more than likely while I'm doing the routine on the screen, you're going to be watching me, trying to figure out what it is I'm doing. The goal isn't for you to watch me do what I'm doing on the screen. The goal is for you to see what I'm doing and say, okay, it's so simple, I could do it. I don't even have to watch them, which means I could feel into everything. So this is how using very, very simple movements, like the ones I show on social media, and believe it or not, I get a lot of flack from this. I have other movement people hit me up, DM me, saying that what I teach is bullshit. They're like, oh, what are you teaching is bullshit? Because they're just focusing on the movements. And, and when I go to their page, they're more complex. They actually probably move better than me, probably a lot better than me. I'm not even that great of a mover. I'm not that great of a stretcher. I'm not that great at anything. But what I have learned how to do is simplify it as best as I possibly can for a particular group of people. I think if you follow this page, and I hope you follow this page because of the simplicity, you realize that the routines don't take that long. And if you've done my long form routines, which I hope, the goal of the short routines, the little reels, the shorts that I post, the goal is for you to get your attention, yes, to grab your attention, to get you interested in doing some type of movement. But the real goal, I'm hoping, with my little storytelling, is to start to shift your belief. Like, the goal is, yes, for me to get you to do the routine, which is very hard, by the way. I think between all of my socials right now, there's about 800,000 people. The fact that I've had maybe tens of thousands of messages of people saying they've actually done the routines or got off their butt and did something means a lot to me. But it's not because I just post a movement. Because sometimes people will complain, can you take the words off your body? Can you stop with the stories because I can't see what you're doing? And I laugh because the routines are so simple. Like, what do you have to see? It's not about seeing, it's about feeling. have a general sense of what I'm doing and do it. Get off your butt to do it. You know, now these people are probably just looking for an excuse not to do it. They want to complain. But the idea is, my goal with the storytelling is for me to help you shift some beliefs in your mindset, to help you release limiting beliefs, to get you off your butt to do these simple moves so you could actually experience the shift. So remember, it's not about the moves. The reason why the moves are so simple is because I want you to feel each move. I want you to experience each move. Because I feel like when you experience the move, you start to take that into actual life, like walking in the park, being present with your spouse, actually listening to your spouse, and remembering what they say, connecting with your spouse, connecting with the moment. Even while you're driving, your mind's not drifting. You're focused on actually driving and feeling the steering wheel and feeling the air, feeling your temperature. Because true happiness, true gratitude comes when you learn to stay present with the moment. The only reason why we suffer is because our minds are either going into the future or going into the past. That voice inside your head is constantly talking, it's constantly yapping, it's constantly preferring something else. And my true goal is to continue to teach these little, very, very, very simple movements. That way you engage with them, that way you experience them, and that way you actually start to shift your life. And I'm very, very happy because I see that my audience, a lot of my audience for the most part, of the about 800,000 people that follow the accounts, they're older. And I'm glad to have an older audience because I've always resonated with an older audience. These are people that are like 45 and over. They actually are starting to understand I don't need anything complicated anymore. I need something that's super simple, something that I could engage with daily. That way I could start to shift and live my life as opposed to what most people are doing, which is living their minds. And when they live their minds, they suffer because the mind is never satisfied. It always prefers something else. Like right now, I'm looking at my face on the video camera, and I'm like, I got crusty lips. My mustache is weird. My hair is a mess. Now, this is the mind talking. It wants me to look better because it feels like if I post this, people might say something, and then I get very, very defensive, and which means if I start to get defensive, I feel uneasy, I start to feel stressed out. But the idea is for me to drop that, become, let's say, one, become in tune with the moment. And that's how to use these simple movements to actually drastically, and I use the word drastically because trust me, if you start doing these simple movements daily and actually feel each movement, your life will drastically change. All right. So I'm going to end right there. It's a beautiful day. Hope you got some type of value from this. And please, as always, leave feedback in the comments. Until next time, peace.